Welcome to Vernon, British Columbia. It really is a gem in the heart of the Okanagan Valley. Whether you've been here before or you're just hearing about it maybe for the first time, I have got something special for you today. Vernon is known for its stunning lakes and outdoor adventures. If you watched any of our other videos, you've heard all about it. But there's really so much more to this city that meets the eye. Come with me now. Join me as we uncover 8 little known facts about Vernon that'll make you see this place in a whole new light. I'm Lisa Salt with Remax Vernon Salt Fowler. I was born and raised in Vernon, and I'm going to give you a little bit of insight as to what goes on behind the scenes. So let's get started. Number 1 on our list. Did you know that Vernon has a lake monster? That's right. It's the legend of the Ogopogo, our very own lake monster. It's said to live in Okanagan Lake. This mythical creature originates from indigenous stories about a water spirit that guarded the lake and required offerings for safe passage. And then over time, these tales, they evolved into the modern legend of a massive serpent-like creature, kind of like Canada's version of the Loch Ness Monster, I guess. There have been sightings near Vernon with people describing long, undulating ripples in the water of Okanagan Lake that really make you wonder. Like when you look at the footage, it's like, could be. And now, while no one knows for sure if the Okanagan is real, it's all part of that kind of fun and mystery that makes this area so unique. So whether you're kayaking or swimming or just enjoying the view, make sure to keep your eyes peeled. You might just spot a ripple and have an unforgettable story to tell. Next on our list, let's talk a little bit about Silverstar Mountain, once used for mining and not skiing. So before Silverstar Mountain became a world-renowned ski destination, it was a hub for miners searching for precious metals like silver in the late 1800s. The mountain's earliest claim was staked apparently in 1896 by the Silverstar Mining Company. Shafts were apparently dug near the mountain summit by pick and shovel, of course, can you imagine that? And then blasted with black powder to break up the bigger pieces. The raw ore was then loaded into buckets and pack horses took it down the mountain. Everyone was super excited and invested into shares of the company because they were, of course, going to hit the big time. They were going to hit gold because there were trace amounts, I guess, of silver and lead and zinc and molybdenum and copper, and that were all found in the ore. Unfortunately, though, the prospectors realized pretty quickly that the grade of the ores sucked and couldn't be worked at a profit. So then in 1926, that was the end of that little adventure. However, there were skiers waiting in the wings for their turn to explore the mountain, and the rest, as we say, is history. Number 3, let's talk about Kalamalka Lake's unique color. That lake is truly the crown jewel of the Okanagan. It is breathtaking, and it's often called the Lake of Many Colors. And for good reason. If you've ever been here during the summer months, a natural phenomenon occurs where calcium carbonate particles in the water crystallize due to the warmer temperatures. And the result is just an unreal magical palette of turquoise and deep blues and bright greens that seem to shift depending on the light and the time of day. It's really like having a slice of the Caribbean right here in Canada. Now, fun fact, these color changes were so mesmerizing that the indigenous people believed the lake had spiritual significance. Honestly, I mean, it's not hard to see why. It's unreal. They're so beautiful. Number 4, let's talk about historic Chinatown. Back in the late 1800s, Vernon had a huge, bustling Chinatown. Our Chinatown was home to over 300 Chinese immigrants. So think of that. I looked it up. Vernon had a 600-person population in 1892 when it was incorporated. So half potentially were Chinese immigrants at that time. In fact, I was reading that these hardworking individuals played a crucial role in shaping the city's economy, particularly through agriculture, trade, and railway construction. At its peak, Chinatown was a lively community with shops and homes and even cultural festivals. Now, I remember Chinatown. There's no real sign of it now. There's one Filipino restaurant there, and that's pretty much about it. However, at the time, there were tons of restaurants. I remember going to Lotus Gardens for dinner with my parents. I wouldn't eat Chinese food at the time. I would only have a steak. There was Goon Hong and there was Hong Kong Village, and no doubt there was way more than that. And unfortunately, over time, much of the history's been lost over the years, and the whole area was pretty much gone due to a fire in 1978. But many of us longtime Vernonites, we remember the smorgasbord at Goon Hong that opened in 1950. It was a heaping plate of fried prawns and egg rolls and roast pork and chop suey and chow mein and fried rice, and it cost $4 in 1976. It's really sad that we don't have that option still to walk through Chinatown today in Vernon. It's pretty much all but extinct, unfortunately, but it was there. We still have 4 more little known facts, but before we do that, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We're posting videos like this about Vernon, videos for buyers, videos for sellers every single week. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days or just curious about the area that we call home, be sure to call, text, or email and just add salt. Number 5 on our list, let's talk about the Coldstream Ranch legacy. So Coldstream Ranch, which was established in 1863, is one of the most historically significant ranches in Canada, and certainly significant in many ways to Vernon. One way is that it was the start to the Vernon Irrigation District and what is now the Grey Canal Trail. The land was originally claimed as a military land grant and then grew from there, went through many owners, and at one time grew up to a size of 13,261 acres, which is quite a lot, as you can imagine. And still today, the ranch is around 12,000 acres. It's seen various permutations such as farming with fruit trees. During the Second World War, 8,500 acres were used for military training purposes, but today it operates primarily as a cattle ranch and is still, by the way, one of the largest working cattle ranches in BC. Very cool. Number 6, let's talk about Vernon's first movie theater. It was called Dreamland, opened in 1903 right on 30th Avenue in downtown Vernon. And no one would go. No one wanted to go to the movies for some reason. In a 1910 newspaper article, the theater's manager at the time, H.H. Dean, claimed the people of Vernon were afraid they would see something they would be ashamed of, and the public had to be educated as to the class of pictures which would be shown in Dreamland. After that, after Dreamland, the Empress Theater opened, also on 30th Avenue in 1912, and then things really looked up when the Capitol Theater opened, again on 30th Avenue, November of 1938. Then in 1970, the Capitol's name was changed to what we now have come to know as the Town Cinema, which is currently operated by the Okanagan Screen Arts Society. Just went through a big renovation, actually. Also in 1970, I remember this, our largest theater opened in Polson Place Mall, which was at the time Famous Players Cinema, which has since morphed into Cineplex Entertainment, where the theater's name was changed to the Galaxy Cinemas. Now, the most interesting thing to me is that today, Cineplex Entertainment is a $3 billion company. Well, 115 years ago, where there was like nothing to do, Vernonites had to be convinced to visit the Dreamland. Interesting. Like, you really would think there was less to do back then and people would want to experience new things. However, number 7, let's keep talking about movies. Vernon is home to BC's largest drive-in theater. Now, I mean, it's gone now, but in the mid-20th century, the Valley Drive-In Theater was a beloved landmark in Vernon. Located just outside the city at the time, it was the largest drive-in theater in BC. Had a massive screen, enough parking for hundreds of cars. It was a social hotspot. I remember in its heyday, the drive-in was more than just a place to go and watch movies. I mean, it was the community gathering spot where families and friends came together under the stars. Well, and high school kids went to party. Classic films, concessions, and the unique atmosphere. It was such a great part of the local culture. It closed, unfortunately, in the 1990s as indoor cinemas and home entertainment systems grew in popularity. However, its memory lives on for many of us Vernon residents, when so many of us will remember stuffing each other in the trunk with a case of beer and going in to watch the movies. Sometimes it went until 2 in the morning when it was a long weekend. I mean, it was a blast. I miss the drive-in. It was a simpler time. Then number 8 and last on our list, let's talk about Vernon's Winter Carnival. Did you know the Vernon Winter Carnival is one of Canada's longest running winter festivals, dating back to 1961? Every February, the city comes alive with the snow-themed activities, from parades and ice sculptures to quirky traditions like the snowball tournament. It really is a huge celebration of winter fun and community spirit. And if you're in Vernon during winter, this is truly a can't miss event. Trust me, it is the perfect way to embrace the magic of the season while creating memories you'll never forget. The Winter Carnival comes at a time when people are going stark raving mad from the inversion and the snow and the cold, and it's just a great way. Lots and lots of fun, just so many events. If you haven't been, it's something, you just can't miss it. So Vernon, from the colorful lakes to the rich history to the vibrant traditions, Vernon it's just always full of surprises. And those are 8 of them. So which of the little known facts was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. And in the meantime, if you're looking to move to Vernon, please make sure that you download our free relocation package at vernonrelocation.com.